Bigger topics condensed to easier understanding just to simplify sustainability. Let's learn together. The three things that I, especially as a consumer of these things, not the manufacturer, I've been listening to a lot of, your products need to be paraben-free, lead-free, sulfate-free. So how harmful are these ingredients actually, and is there any short-term, long-term effects that we should know about?
I mean, actually, I don't know if this is too controversial, but sometimes I feel like there's a lot of like bad publicity. Like one ingredient is just made to look like a really bad guy without actually really looking into things sometimes. To give you an example, like mineral oil, like is like made. I know the origin is petrochemicals, so it definitely has. The origin is not great, but sometimes it's the most inert material and the most safe in terms of, like sensitive skin, or it'll not cause any reactions. It's a very good, it forms a great film in terms of keeping the moisture in. So from an actual use perspective, it's great. The same way with parabens, like there are various grades of parabens. You have methyl, propyl. It's not just parabens. It's just that it also depends on concentration. It's not in isolation that, like none of it should be used. Everything comes with the fact that there is a product and then the concentration that you should be using it and how it does. Definitely, there are some parabens that cause hormonal changes, etc. And that's why it has some amount of the bad publicity as well. Lead, of course, is very harmful. So it's not that all of them are terrible, definitely, but some of them are not as bad, but are also made to sound a lot worse than they are. And even in terms of sulfates, frankly, sulfates are actually bad for the environment more than anything else. So I definitely think I'm glad people will use lesser of it, but it's actually not as harmful. It's not as bad for you in terms of your skin, etc. It's more like it's environmental friendly. It's not as environmental friendly in terms of its degradation. And a lot of times also people talk about, makeup being sulfate free, which is actually irrelevant because sulfates is more relevant in most of the times more washing products or cleansers and things like that. So I feel like then when you have like sulfate-free like eyeshadow, it's irrelevant, right? Like nobody's using sulfates in eyeshadows anyways.
But then it becomes like a marketing thing. Like
then it's just like, it's sulfate-free. Like then you just use words without it actually making any like sense. But yeah, I guess that's how it is.
It's like in the food and bev industry, like gluten. Some products just don't have gluten ever. They've never had gluten, but now they're like, we are gluten-free because they're trying to appeal to a segment that is looking for everything free of this, free of that.
It just sounds like it's like better, I guess.
True that. Want to watch the whole podcast? Head over to Sephira's Green and Greener Show or SGGS podcast right now.